Hey there, monkeys. Grab that cup of coffee, kick back, and relax. We'll get started with a Sitrep in just a minute. All right. Hey, good morning, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be your Sitrep. It is 12/6/2023, and we're coming to you live here from the Monkey Lounge here in the great state of Texas. As we get into the deets here, let's peel this banana back and start looking at the skies. So what do we have going on over here in Skyglass? Sitting at around 304 up. Now, keep in mind, I haven't peeled back any of the trainers. We're going to go ahead and grab those now. There's about 85 of those up. You can see that thinned out quite a bit, but numbers still at 221. Let's see what the big drivers are. First up is going to be your air refuelers. There seem to be quite a few of those up right now. Now that's only KC-135s. The other big driver, we've got some H-60s. You can see very active and busy. That's going to be your Blackhawks. All right, let me go through more trainers. The EC-45s could be a mix, but most of those right here in this general area means those are trainers. So, in fact, I could just take those out. Let's see. C-130s, a little active, not too bad. C-130Js, same thing, not over the top. Now, this is interesting. The Banana Copter, right? H-47 Chinooks, 10 of those up. I don't think I've ever seen 10 of those. That's pretty large. That's a pretty big number. So, and then we throw in the other air refuelers. So if we add those two together, you can see we're sitting at 24 of those just across the continental United States, coast to coast. So it looks like a very busy, active day for fighters. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and start getting into what is happening out there. Watch list is active. This is current content. So this is stuff that is currently over your head right now. All right, so we've got, looks like the Phoenix Air Boys out off the southern coast. We also have the Intel folks out southern Arizona. And then notice the R-135s, the E-6s, all headed down towards the southern Texas border, along with the sea of stuff going on around the Texas border. And then let's see, as we look a little further, you've got an advanced early warning aircraft up northern Dakotas, it looks like. And then the NOAA boys down over Florida. So it's a pretty active day. Now, I have stripped out 42 survey flights already this morning. The Swift Airs are not showing in that, nor the C-17s. I've taken those off because they clog up everything, right? Another advanced early warning down, looks like towards France. And then, of course, that right there coming around the horn, that's actually a Russian bird. Right, that T call sign. There's another, looks to be, that's a Russian bird right there as well. So 3 Ruski aircraft up. Then we get down towards Israel. You're going to notice you've got the Intel birds, the B703 J-Star, as well as that G5. So that B703 is a multi-purpose aircraft, by the way, that also has air refueling capabilities. Only the Israelis, the only ones I know that do that. So, all right, Intel, you can see, looking closely at Serbia. Let me back that up. I want you to see that again. Notice right here where that is, Serbia, okay? It's important because Serbia is starting to heat up. So pay attention to that. And then notice they are looking very, very closely at Russia, right? You go right up here. This is all running right parallel to the Russian border. All right. Again, intel, reconnaissance, gathering data. All right. Now, let's look at the drone aspect. Notice coming out of Southern California, look to be transitioning. So they come off of the border side of the house, and then they head up towards Massachusetts, which I thought was interesting. It landed there. And then notice the broken trace here that just kind of kick it up sideways. It's hard to see because the blue line, but you can see that broken trace. I don't know where that one went. And then this one looks to be headed down towards Trumpville. And we get over to Europe. Again, this is drones, all right? Get down to Europe, and you're going to see, notice that one down towards Malta, out over the Mediterranean, right? So Q9 maybe, I'm thinking Q9. And then same thing here. Look at this going back and forth over, looking at probably Crimea. If I had to guess from that aspect, nothing over Israel, which I find very odd and strange. All right. Then we'll look at the R-135 aspects. And it's very clear they are concerned about something down off of the Texas side of the house, because they're looking closely at that Texas border. You see that? Mm-hmm. Even multiple layers there. And then that little snake tongue also looking down off of the border. Yeah, they can do it from that distance, believe it or not. And then something over Nevada. Okay, then we get over to Europe, and again, it just tells the story. Very concerned about Kaliningrad as always. There's nothing goes on in that area of Russia that they don't already know. And the same thing, Crimea. We're looking very closely. Now, we'll look at the flights going in at RZE, and I've got kind of an analysis on that. Notice that the R-135 also, again, looking at the Lebanese side of the house up towards Beirut and into Syria. And then nothing over Asia. All right. Now, we've got a couple more things we're going to cover. We're going to look at the C-17 traffic. And just note, it has slowed down a little bit. This is a really strange, where they're going. It looks almost like they landed out or dropped stuff in the water. I can't tell that. It's just low altitude. Out in that same area that we see a lot of the weird, strange traffic going down in Southern California. That's C-17s. So that's not like you're looking at, a recon bird or something. That's a C-17. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then, of course, we get up to the normal spots all the way up the West Coast. And then down into what looks to be Louisiana, Texas, Florida, and then the port locations up the eastern seaboard. Kind of dial that in and kick it off to the side. Virginia Beach, in and out of D.C., Dover. All right. And then we get over to Europe, and you can see real thick lines. Now, I have, based on what I'm watching here, I've got a theory also on this one. All right. In and out of Germany. All right. You know where you don't see them? And nothing going into Egypt or Israel. Last 3 days. Now, look where they are coming in and out of. UAE and Qatar. Yeah. Remember they were transporting people into those areas? And then all of a sudden we see all this flight traffic coming out of those areas, bringing them back into Germany, probably into the United States. That's probably where they're going. My guess is they're picking them up there, so it's not so obvious. And probably ship some stuff in, bring some stuff back. And by stuff back, I mean the people that don't like us, bringing them into our country. They do it, and they're continuing to do it. We're going to talk about that in depth here today, about a 900% spike in Chinese fighting age males coming across our border. All right. Southern border coming through Arizona, Texas, California. So eyes on that, because it's we're getting hit from every angle you can imagine. And we're going to talk more detail about that as well. So let's do this. Let's get into the news. And when we get to the Swift Air site and we start talking about those flights, I'm going to basically back in and we'll show you the Swift Air traffic here in just a minute as we talk news, okay? Now, this is flashbang scheduled today. Looks like the big guy is, what's he doing? He's just panhandling around D.C. That's it. And I'm still shocked that he is still on a campaign reception. It was funny. He actually made a comment that the only reason he's still running is because Trump's running. He still thinks he can beat him. I don't think we're going to allow it this time. I think we are done with this government, and I think that any shenanigans that took place again or take place again, like we've seen in the past, I don't think it will age well. Let's put it that way. All right, let's move on. The main story here: large group of Chinese male migrants with smart luggage illegally cross border as numbers from China skyrocket. Yeah, check this out. Thousands of well-dressed, mostly military-age Chinese illegal immigrants crossed the U.S. border in 2023. Yeah, they're saying the number's around 100,000. That's what I've read. Now, I see some different numbers here. Fox News is giving us a soft number of about 52,700, pretty specific. Daily Mail is saying 24,000. That is a big difference between two reporting agencies. And I guess you could call them agencies, really. I wouldn't say they're media. We know who they work for, right? All right. And then we go down, just look at them lined up here. Yep. And look at this very nice matching luggage, so to speak. I would say that we need to be very mindful of this. In fact, maybe don't support their businesses, right? Because we are definitely, they are the enemy. There's no two ways about it. So now here's the other piece too that CBP said, and you know what? I keep calling these guys Border Patrol. It's Border Protection. And I don't know why I do that. It's just by default. There's actually 3 different segments within them. You got the people that dress in the blue uniforms that you see, like the blue and white stuff, right? That when you're coming through the airports that are, people coming into the country, that's who you see there. They're kind of the administrative side of the house. Then you get the green guys, right? That's going to be Border Patrol dudes. And then you get the tan guys, which are kind of like the Marines, right? So they do have different divisions within the organization. And I never point that out. I just lop them all into one bucket, which is not really accurate. But anyway, from this standpoint, the CBP is saying that just since October 1, there are over 6,500 Chinese nationals encountered at the U.S.-Mexico border, along with 700 Afghans. Okay? Now, think we're still bringing 2,000 a month in up at Fort Dix. All right? We have we actually built a greeting center to bring them in. So, to handle 2,000 a month. And they continue on, right? We're just bringing them here to the point where, this just becomes Afghanistan West. So anyway, this is the other thing that I thought was interesting. It says here that the Border Patrol took into custody 41,000 Indian migrants crossing the border as well. So it's not just the Chinese. They're saying they're coming in from various locations, India, Afghanistan. Obviously, we talk about that. Russia. 7,390 Russians have been caught, and 15,000 Turks. They're every flavor you can imagine coming across our border, and they're not here to help us make a better country. Okay, so anyway, just a data point for you. All right, we're gonna move on, but again, every picture you see, I want you to just be specifically looking for the women and children. You don't see them. That tells you all you need to know. We're being much all right? And our government's doing nothing about it. In fact, they are enabling them. Okay, now this from muckracker.com. This guy actually goes down. He's reporting from South America, but he says that he exposed a secret Chinese hotel that it's full of military-aged, U.S.-bound Chinese staged at this Colombian hotel. And they're also talking about the Chinese police in America. Now, we've heard that in the past. It is a real thing. And they're basically policing. Think of it like their own little mafia here. They have, overall responsibility to the CCP in our own cities, which is insane to think that is the case. But you can see this guy is talking about crossing at the Darien Gap, and he goes into details here around this particular hotel, the fact that it's basically a Chinese restaurant. You can see the military-age males just sitting in the background. You'll see, look, as they go around, I do see some women in there, all right? But I will say the Chinese women aren't like most of the other women in other countries. They can be just as much of a threat as we've seen in terms of spies that have been captured here in the United States. Again, mostly males. All right. So, but yeah, this is instructions. This is basically a staging ground that tells them how to get to where and from and where to go across the border and what to say, etc., as they come into our country. All right. Now over here to Breitbart. This says here, steady surge of migrants at the Arizona border overwhelming the CBP resources. Again, if you look at the photos here, it's all dudes, okay? And they're saying this sector, according to the source, is detaining more than 4,000 migrants in a holding facility designed to hold 2,600. You know what that means? Yeah, they detain them, and then it's catch and release. We're letting them go because we don't have anywhere to put them. Right now, we do see some flights that go back to Central America, but all they do is just get back in the line and come back across. And then now they're smarter because they know how we operate, and they just don't go to those spots where the reception is. They go across areas that are wide slap open and come right into our country. So check us out. The sources say the migrants have paid as much as $10,000 or more each to be brought to the border through Mexico across Lukeville. Now think about that. That's a lot of money, especially if you're a migrant, you're leaving, and you're trying to get across. Where are they getting this money to do this stuff? Now, as reported by Breitbart, Texas, the Border Patrol apprehended nearly 190,000 migrants entering the United States illegally at the southern border in November. That's it. That's just for 1 month. So we're already setting a record. There is a massive amount of people coming across our southern borders, and it's not good. Like I said, they're coming from every country, and our federal government is doing very little to stop it. In fact, they're doing nothing to stop it. We are being invaded, and when it goes hot, good luck trying to figure out who's who. Okay? All right. Now, let's segue that into the Swift flights. And I'm going to show you right here. This is the current up for Swift Air. Notice there are a bunch going into Central America. You know, we fly them back down here. They get out. They get back in line. They come back up. It's, you know, but notice here, you've got them going into Reno from Phoenix, right? It's just free pass. And then just notice along the border operations, that tells you these guys are absolutely 100% working with our government to rehome these folks. Okay, now look at the Swift. This is over the last 3 days, 19 flights into the interior of our country, primarily. All right, and let me zoom in a little bit. You can see in and out of Vegas. And if you live in these areas, you got to be noticing. And I've had a lot of information coming from folks that are within the Monkey Nation over on Patreon saying, hey, they're all over the airports. They're all over our cities. They're into Walmarts. There's Buffalo. We talk a lot about that place. New York, you know, it's they're just dropping them off. Here is a voucher. Here's a place to live. They give them everything they need. And just stand by. Yeah, I can guarantee you that's exactly what's going on. And they dump them into an area where they're just completely just disappear. All right, big areas up into New York and L.A., et cetera. You know, where they're just big cities. You're not going to be able to find them. They just blend in with everybody else. It's insane. So, all right, there is that aspect of it. Let's get back over here to the mini, and then let's get into the other pieces. As we talked about this surge, now check this out. This guy doubles down. He's already saying, he said that the terror threats are blinking red lights everywhere. This is coming straight from the horse's mouth. And whatever horse he rode in on, he is, we know where his bread is buttered and where he lies, it's no toys. How he's still there, I don't know. But the Gestapo has great power, so just remember that, okay? All right. So this is a softball here because this guy, he's a turncoat, just like every other one that's representing us, or sorry, not representing us. But he basically just said that there are blinking red lights everywhere, and he referred to this red light analogy regarding the 9/11 terrorist attacks. All the lights were blinking red before 9/11, and obviously they all missed it. And now he says we're in the same situation again. I see, this is his main thing. I see blinking red lights everywhere. All right. So that means they're the chatter, the threats, everything that they're hearing and seeing is off the chain. Okay. All right, here we go. Check this out. Senator Durbin, Dirtbag Durbin. Get ready for illegal immigrants in the U.S. military. Yeah, they are actually pushing legislation right now to come forward, and it's called the Enlist Act. Now, this is our opportunity, folks, to come in hot and heavy on our representatives and let them know, not on our watch. If you vote for this, I'm not voting for you in the next election. That's what you need to tell them. Not that it really counts and matters, but you know what I'm saying. You need to let them feel a little bit of the heat on this. Reach out, send messages, whatever it takes, and tell them they better vote this down, okay? Because what you're doing is you're basically putting the enemy into a command position within our country that if they decide that they're going to use them domestically, and you know what I'm talking about, then that's how they will do it, okay? All right, they'll put them in a military uniform and they'll start kicking doors, all right? So better pay attention to that because this is basically letting them out of the Trojan horse and putting them into a U.S. military uniform and giving them authority. You may remember one of the last executive orders that the Kenyan passed was, go look it up. I think it was in October or something right before he went out of office. And it basically says it's a use of force act. And it in essence says that the use of force can be executed against U.S. citizens domestically and abroad. All right. So that basically gives them authorization to do so. And you would have thought that Trump would have taken that one and kiboshed it, just like we saw Flashbang do. As soon as he got into office, he went through and basically started getting rid of all of Trump's EOs. Well, he did not do that. And the only thing I can think of is maybe he thought he would be able to utilize that to take down some of the deep state folks. But it apparently not, because it never happened, right? All right, here we go. Lawmakers want $26 billion. This is your Bohica moment. $26 billion for programs the Pentagon didn't even seek. Now, that tells you right there, these guys, look, the Pentagon has failed 6, if not 7 audits in a row because they can't manage money. And our lawmakers, instead of holding them accountable for the money that they've lost, which is in the trillions of dollars, we want to give them another $26 billion. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, we are being bamboozled left, right, and center by our government, and we better wake up fast. And I mean, like yesterday, because if we don't start reeling these folks in and hold people accountable, we're done, 100% done. And it'll be before this next election ever takes place. Trying to get that genie back in the bottle. If for some crazy reason we're able to get Trump back in as president, you know what he's up against, right? We saw it last time. So going to be tough. Going to be real tough. Okay, let's go over here and take a look at the NOTAMs. I don't see Flashbang on the move anywhere. I thought maybe he would, of course, it's only middle of the week, so maybe we'll see something putting him on the beach again this weekend. Just notice the slop coming off. This is turbulence is what that stands for. Notice the orange boxes. These are going to be mill exercise, mill op boxes. And then as we get off of this side right here, this is where I find it interesting. Notice you've got another atmospheric river coming in. Let's take a look at the NOAA and see what these guys are up to. This is NOAA transitioning off the East Coast, busy in Florida. That's kind of their main headquarters. Notice the box, high altitude box that goes over this area where we're seeing the atmospheric river in play out here, okay, as it comes in. Now, I'm going to go over to the NOTAMs, and I want you to look at these boxes, right? These are like MILOP stuff right in the mix of all of this. Here's another one, kind of a strange name. And then this one here. Okay. Now, what I find interesting is that even though I see the boxes and I know they're operating out there, I don't see the NOAA flights. They seem to be either using military aircraft or they are wiping them. And then this one I thought was really interesting. Notice this little spider down here in Hawaii. Yeah, just the broken traces. That'll probably come into play later, but just pay attention to that one, all right? And get down here. I just want to look at South Africa, make sure they are out of town there. It looks like they have. So if you're in South Africa, NOAA has left the building, which is good for you. So anyway, that's where we are. Remember, we were just looking at the other boxes. This PETA Guppy 23 area, that's what we had over here too, right? That's a PETA Guppy, same thing, 23. Now, just notice, remember, I just showed you the NOAA flights out here that were broken traces, right? That's it. So it tells you they're here too. All right. So if you're out here, you're probably going to get a lot of rain, a lot of flooding. And look at the rivers. They just keep coming across, these atmospheric rivers. Just like we had last time, they just continue to just inundate the west side of the United States, the West Coast. All right, now there is a box right here. Let me see what that's all about because I missed that one. VIP. Oh, okay, there we go. So these are bigger boxes. So that's Flashbang. It looks like he's going to be headed that way December 10th. And then it looks like he's headed back out to Vegas December 8th. All right, there you have it. So we will back away from that. This I found very concerning. It's a data point for you, but it is very strange nonetheless. Israel won mankind's first ever space battle by destroying a Houthi missile outside atmosphere. Basically, outside our atmosphere, right? They deployed the Arrow long-range air defense missile for the first time last month. We never heard anything about it. Shooting down a ballistic missile in outer space that was launched by the Houthis in Yemen. And it was an Iranian-made, Ghadar 110 ballistic missile at Israel. Never heard anything about it. That ought to make us all kind of go, wait a minute, how are a terrorist organization called the Houthis launching ballistic missiles? Unbelievable. All right, and then this one here as well, rocket launcher disguised as a fuel truck seen firing in Iraq. This, let me just show you the top of it. I'm not going to, it's kind of, there's a little map of what, we've been watching these areas, but this is the top of the truck right here, as you can see. Very archaic, but it works. And so they roll in close range with what looks to be a fuel truck and then let it fly. So nonetheless, it kind of like the Club K, where it's just kind of hidden. We'll go down a little further because I did see some other pictures of stuff that I thought was interesting, like that one right there, semi-truck, and notice it pops up and off to the races. And this was an Iranian civilian truck, right, or built to look like that. Notice the extension on the back here. But nonetheless, they're getting very creative. And much like the Club Ks, all right? So, all right, well, listen, the only thing that I have from a base perspective I do want to show you is we go over here to RZE Poland, and just a couple of data points for you. Notice you got one coming in direct from Anchorage, Alaska, and then we have it going straight back out to Hong Kong. My thought on this is just that they are more than likely bringing in some more artillery, and they're just trying to buy time. I think they thought that Russia was going to kind of slow down and back off a little bit of Ukraine because winter is setting in, and it didn't happen. And now I think they're scrambling because they realized we're running out of stuff. We don't have anything else to give them, and because we're facing our own threats, and we don't have any funding approved. Noticed that Zelensky showed up here in the U.S. and then was basically canceled. He didn't come in. We did track his flight, and then they said he chose not to do it virtually. Something was definitely off there. All right, listen, that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, middle of the week. Just stay frosty. Keep that powder dry. We'll talk soon. God bless. Monkey out. Thanks for watching, folks. You can check out the latest gear and products by selecting the QR code on your screen now or go to monkeywerxus.com.